Welcome to the program. Republican Congressman from Florida, Greg Steube. Congressman, welcome to Prime News. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you and your fellow Floridians. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I want to talk about what's going on down in Florida, but first I want to ask you about what's really affecting the country. You look at Joe Biden spending nearly 200 days in Delaware now during his presidency. That's actually a quarter of his presidency. Suddenly he's all over the place, going from DNC event to DNC event to finally now he goes to Florida, but we're not seeing any action, very little if any. The economy is in the tank. The national debt is the highest in history, as we mentioned. And now you've got this OPEC announcement. Our gas prices are going to skyrocket even further. What do you say to all of this?
Well, his policies got us to the place that we are in our economy. His policies have got us to not being energy independent. We were energy independent under Trump, and now we're having to beg these companies. And remember, he begged Saudi Arabia and these other countries to pump more fuel and pump more gas, and they told him no. And now, because it's simple supply and demand, they're going to shut down the production so that the price skyrockets so they make more money. And if we were energy independent right here in our country, we wouldn't have to worry about those things. And we wouldn't have to worry about the things that we're worrying about here in Southwest Florida after a hurricane and trying to find gas and diesel. I stopped at multiple different places today. You couldn't find diesel fuel because all of these big trucks that are down here, the power trucks and all of that, have to use diesel fuel to get down here and do the job that they're doing to try to get us back on power. And it's all because of the policies of Joe Biden and this Democratic Congress.
Congressman, it's hard to believe. We have the energy right below our feet, and here we have them once again. They're begging our adversaries for oil. Biden's own chief scientist talking about climate change. He dismissed the radical left's theory that hurricanes are due to climate change, yet it was the first thing Biden mentions. Take a listen.
In terms of, first of all, the biggest thing the governor's done and so many others have done, they've recognized this thing called global warming. The world is changing. It's changing.
I mean, after such a terrible disaster, are you surprised that even now in a time of need and heartache, Democrats continue to push their climate agenda?
They use every opportunity and every tragedy that we have going on in this country to try to push their agenda on the American people. And this is no exception. So we're going to talk about climate change when people are literally still have their homes flooded, are still trying to get out of their homes. We're still trying to rescue people and do search and rescue missions. And he's going to use the opportunity to try to talk about climate change. And we can look at all the statistics and all the numbers. This isn't due to climate change. It's just due because of the fact that we had a major hurricane that hit our state. And it's one of the few hurricanes that hit our state this cycle. And they had said there was going to be like 7 or 9 major hurricanes. We've only had this one. But it was a tremendous hurricane that hit our country. And we should be focused on saving people, getting people food and water, getting them energy, getting them fuel, and getting them back on their feet. And of course, the Democrats want to take this as an opportunity to politicize their agenda.
They do. And Congressman, we had Jack Brewer on the program the other night, and it was just one of, I'm sure, many amazing stories throughout the state of Florida as you recover. And he talked about some people in Arcadia, Florida that were underserved. They didn't have the gas, the water, the food that they needed. He was with DeSantis that day, and he mentioned it to the governor. And within the day, they had a tanker full of gas. They had everything they needed. And we're really seeing, for those of us who don't live in Florida, this amazing model for leadership coming out of your governor. I mean, he's been an amazing leader. Let's play a quick clip of what he had to say today, and I'd like to get your reaction.
Today, we have over 97% of the state that has power. Here in Lee County, of course, one of the hardest hit areas, Florida Power and Light has restored 85% of its Lee County customers. One of the things that you're seeing in this response, we are cutting through the bureaucracy. We are cutting through the red tape, and that's from local government, state government, all the way up to the president. So we appreciate the team effort.
Congressman, talk to us about the response that you're seeing there on the ground from the governor and from other groups as Florida recovers.
Look, the tip of the spear right now is local law enforcement in our local counties. They're the ones that are getting the 911 calls. They're the ones that are going out and rescuing individuals. But I will say I've never seen the assets that we have on the ground from volunteer organizations to local government to state government. FEMA is here. So we have incredible amount of assets from all over the country. I've had the opportunity to visit the Southern Baptist Convention that has a disaster relief. They have people from all over the country, Texas, the South, you name it, that have come here to volunteer to help people in need. And it's that whole of government approach that is getting people out and giving them the resources that they need to be survived.
It's amazing just how everyone is coming together. Congressman, you are leading the charge on getting emergency funding for Hurricane Ian victims with a bill that is exclusively focused on hurricane relief and free from any unrelated language, unlike previous bills that Congress has passed. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, the Democrats can't help themselves but to shove every type of disaster relief with Green New Deal funding, with all of these different things that are unrelated to the disaster. So I've asked the Appropriations Committee to come up with a disaster supplemental that would be a clean supplemental only related to Hurricane Ian relief, not Green New Deal things, gender politics, all of the things that Democrats love to put in these bills. We should be focused on Florida right now. Florida needs to be getting the resources they need to come back. I mean, I've met person after person, family after family that have lost their home. They don't care about gender politics. They don't care about identity politics. They don't care about climate change. They care about getting the resources that they need from the federal government to get back into a new home. So that's what we should be focused on. I'm leading that letter in the delegation here in Florida, and we shouldn't politicize this tragedy that we're having in Florida when people are completely, their homes have been destroyed and their families have been destroyed.
Congressman Greg Steube, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Florida is strong, and we are praying for you all in your recovery.
Thank you. God bless.